Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. Today I wanted to talk to you about peculiar companions. Now, peculiar companions are some companions of ours from Argentina that have started putting up a very peculiar, for lack of better words, Patreon page of quite interesting models. Now, you look at this guy and you look, oh, it's just a regular ho-hum, men-at-arms type in heavy armor, with a pole arm. And that's true. But one of the things that initially struck out really interesting to me is the fact that they are one of the very few that's actually doing honest to goodness rank and file models. So they've done a couple of armies so far, and we'll focus on primarily the human stuff, but I'll talk about the other stuff as well. But they've done a really, really nice looking Spanish rank and file army, and I gotta say, these models are just right up my alley, which is funny because number one, I'm not a big fan of rank and file models. Number two, there's just an awful lot of variety, and they're humans of all things. So there's a couple of variations here, and the cool thing is they're all modular for the most part. Now, these two guys right here are actually just single piece models, and they haven't been primed or anything like that, which is probably why you can't see any detail. And I'm not the best printer, but you can see at least a good idea of what that entails. So a single piece, and even if you've got like a smaller build plate, you could probably squeeze a ton of these guys onto a build order, I guess. So again, these are their single piece models, and then there's two modular pieces, or I should say two modular bodies. We have our at ease guy, and then we have our forward rank of pikemen. There is actually a pike model available, but they were long and I didn't want to print it because it was going to take too long to get printed. But there are a variety of various pole arms available besides the pikes, which I didn't print. So you have some variety in how you want to build either the guys advancing forward or the guys at ease. And even more interesting is the fact that that's just one of the variations I'm showing you right now. There's actually a couple of different types available as well. Basically, it boils down to the helmets that are different, but you can see the breastplates are a little bit different as well. And most of their faces are fully covered, so there's not going to be a big issue of having to paint too much facial detail if you're not into that kind of thing. In addition to all that, they do have an officer figure, and again, they have a modular officer. There's a couple helmet styles. There's like an extra, what was it, the gorget or whatever it's called, that goes in the front of the face there, that goes on the breastplate, but you're going to have to put those in with like, Mesh Mixer or Blender or one of those type programs to get all the parts connected. In addition to all the pikemen, in addition to the commanding officer, there's also ranged models as well. We have arquebusiers, there's crossbowmen, they're all single pieces, and I can't find where the rest of them went. I did print quite a few of them, but they are hidden from me at the moment. And again, look at that, they all rank up neat and nice. Isn't that something? And there is still quite a variety as well. I didn't print everybody, but there is a good amount of models to mix and match your parts together with, so you do not have to have everybody looking exactly the same. As is, I think they stack up quite nicely with a lot of the other stuff that is available, using a Mantic and an Oathmark model here. You can see they work quite well in terms of size. Grabbing our good old Warhammer Witch Hunter friend there. Again, no modification. I printed them out as is, straight off the plate. No fiddling around with it. I think they're going to fit in really nicely if you want to do a Kingdoms of Men army, if you want to do some kind of historical stuff, if you want to do Vanguard, Old Hammer. I think there's a lot of utility for basic guys like this. And do not forget that you do have the option as well with the ranged arquebus and crossbows that are not with us. But wait, there's more. In addition to that, they've been fooling around. I shouldn't say fooling around. They've been steadily plugging away with making other races available, and I wanted to show off. I did have a painted example of one of the at ease guys here. Not the best paint job, but it's okay. They also had dwarven ones. Now, the dwarves were not as extensive as the human pikemen. You had basically men-at-arms with modular weapons and shields, and then there were some heavy-armed dwarves as well. So technically, you could put them onto the square bases and have them hanging out, and I think they'd fit in quite nicely, actually, with a lot of the other guys here. I did not glue that down well, but that's okay. In addition to all that, they've also been working pretty extensively on an interesting take on goblins. They've got a kind of Kingdom of Benin-based, were they Western African? Traditional West African armor, which I thought was a kind of cool take rather than the, you know, typical goblins. They're nice and dignified and civilized, and they also have some orc counterparts as well. I haven't printed too many of the orcs yet. I should have a finished one soon enough, but they are, again, really pretty nice counterparts. To me, they have the imposing, tough, intimidating look that sadly a lot of orcs are lacking these days, as well as cultured. You can see he's not just a wild creature. They also have some really nice cavalry units. There should be human cavalry units coming in the near future. This is one of the orc cavalry units riding on a water buffalo on a 50mm base. Heavy armor, obviously. Again, part of that West African Benin Kingdom look. Really intricate design. It's going to be a lot of fun painting these guys. Besides the orcs having water buffalo cavalry, they also have Goblin Cavalry going with these guys on warthogs, and there are additional troops that were available in previous months as well as on their store in case you're curious. So they have the full complement of, you know, ranged units, cavalry units, leaders, and all that stuff. And even did a very, it's almost Mongol-like part of the horde for their ogre orcs. So again, just wanted to draw some attention if you're interested in something different for your rank and file. And obviously, I think given the breadth of the size of this model, I think he would fit on a regular traditional rectangular cavalry base with no issues whatsoever there. They've just got a lot of interesting models, and if you've watched enough of my videos to know that I'm into all sorts of obscure things, this was right up my alley. So kudos to Peculiar Companions for making something that got me legitimately excited to want to build a rank and file army. That is an absolute rarity. With that said, we'll leave a link down below if you want to give them a look for yourself and see what they're all about. And I'm going to bid you all a fond farewell. This has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures. Say thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.